Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John and this video is going to be what I've just picked up today from CEX. Quite a nice little haul there. But first I've got a subscriber mail unboxing for you. So this has just dropped through the door. I wasn't expecting anything actually. I mean, this is quite late at night. It'd be about 6 o'clock. Yep, about 6 o'clock. So I wasn't expecting anything. And the only reason how I know this is who this is from is because Keith from Euphoria Pictures, linked down to his channel down below, he sent me a message on Instagram. When I looked at it, it said 8 stops away, 6 stops away, so I realised it was from Keith. So I thanked him for this and I said, I haven't got a clue what it's going to be, so I'm really excited to open this. Now, in the very slim chance that you haven't heard of Euphoria Pictures before, this channel offers so much. Keith has just got into live streaming. I was fortunate enough to be his first guest on his channel. I had a great time with his video, the live video. It was great to chat to him. It's always great to chat to him anyway, but it's so great to do it on a live stream as well, so people can see what you like to talk about. Also, Keith has got one of the best ever collections that you see on YouTube. When I leave a link down to his video and you do check it out, if you haven't seen his channel before, you will see exactly what it is from his backdrop. And his collectible backdrop is actually from a pod that he's had delivered in the garden. So all this is the thing that everyone would dream about, having this stuff in a room that's situated well away from anybody. You can have your surround sound blasting. You've got your big television in there. It's got everything going for it. So yeah, so Keith, he basically delivers everything you want to, and he shows off these amazing editions that he's got. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to the likes of 4K and special editions. So this is from Keith. So yes, please get over his channel if you haven't checked him out before, and there's slim chance you haven't checked him out before, and you'll find a great channel there. He's also very easy to get on with, I find. Okay, so let's see what Keith sent us. I haven't got a clue what's coming up in this. Oh, Deep Folly. Yeah. So the item that Keith has sent me is wow. This is weird. I'll tell you why. Because the other night we were talking, actually it was on Keith's video that he's done, his latest video that he's done. I'll actually link that one down below so you can see a little bit about the background of what this is. Now, what had happened was, he was talking about some stuff that he bought, and this was one of them. And I said to Keith, I said, you know what it is, Keith? I really want to get this movie because I've heard a lot of people talking good things about it. And he says, oh, you will really enjoy it. So I had I was going to go and obviously find this movie if I could. It would also be one of those ones where when you're trying to find something, you can't find it. But Keith has saved me one of those journeys when you try and get something and you just cannot get it. So, wow, thanks very much, Keith. I can't believe it. Literally days ago, we were just talking about this as a movie that I would be interested in getting. And Keith sort of reminded me on when I watched his video that this is something that I needed to get. I totally forgotten all about it actually till I saw it in his video. So wow, thanks once again, Keith. This is it's got special features. It's got a making a scene. It says on there, making a scene, and this is I'm a big fan of Kevin Bacon actually. I think all the movies I've seen with him in it, I really enjoy his performances. I wish he'd do a few more actually. Seems to have fallen off the radar a little bit when it comes to making movies, but he was a big star back in the day. He still is actually, but this one here, I believe it's a take on the likes of Death Wish, which I'm a big fan of, them sort of revenge movies when somebody gets pushed and they've got to go and exact some vengeance on somebody. I think that those movies really work for me, especially Death Wish itself. I know that Keith has bought the recent Bruce Willis Death Wish, which, to be honest, I was never a fan of looking into after seeing the magnificent Charles Bronson's version. But after hearing about Bruce Willis's ill health recently, it was funny because I was talking to Debs about this because she's a massive fan of Bruce Willis, always has been for years. It's her #1 actor. So she had said, I'd said to her, what do you think about this? Because she was quite gutted. And I'd said, I had no idea about it. The only thing I had ideas about was that he put out loads and loads of what I consider low budget movies. And she had said that she watched all these movies. I didn't know she did. She must download them off Sky and that and watch them by herself. And she's kept up to date with it. And she said it's funny because when you watch his newer movies, he doesn't say that much in it. And I remember going to see Glass, looking back on it, and it was a great film and I really enjoyed it. but he didn't say half as much as he did in Unbreakable. So yeah, so wow, so that is a thing. Unfortunately, it's a big shame what's happening to Bruce Willis, and but this here is a take of that, and it's also one that I've been really interested in seeing, and I have heard a lot of people talking about it and say like great things, and I don't think I've ever seen Kevin Bacon in this type of role as well. So once again, Keith, thanks a lot for this. This is from the director of Saw as well, so it's James Wan, I believe, and so that's another reason why he said you've got to check this out, because I do think that when James Wan makes a movie, it does make it like really, really good. So wow, once again, thanks very much, Keith, and don't forget to check his channel out down below. So I checked out the picture quality, and I've got to say this picture quality here looks really nice. I'm very interested to see this movie. Like I say, I think Keith read my mind about this movie, and it's getting high on my to-watch list. So this movie clocks in at 2 hours. Now the movie I'm going to watch next on my to-watch list is about 1 hour and 20 minutes, but this one's going to get moved right high up on the list. I mean, I'm not going to just go for the short ones, but I've got them there if I want to. But anyway, this one's a longer one, but it doesn't matter because this one is higher on my to-watch list. So thanks once again, Keith. That was very thoughtful of you, and I really do appreciate that. So this morning in the North Shields branch of CEX, I picked up Mask Maker. Yeah, me neither. Now, it was one of those ones where you just see it and it's on the shelf and you think, well, have a look at that. It's a 101 film that originally got my attention. 50p, can't grumble that. If it's a load of rubbish, then you've not lost anything. In fact, you've got yourself a new box or a case. Now, the best thing about this when I looked at it was that it's a short run of time, which, you know, I like these horror films just to be 90 minutes, so don't need to be 2 hours or anything like that. It's also got Michael Berryman in, who is from The Hills of Eyes. So that ties into a recent purchase I've got, and I thought, well, maybe it was meant to be. I don't know anything about this movie. I do know that the print on it looks very nice, really surprisingly nice actually. Just one of these movies is 50p. It might be a complete load of rubbish, but it might not be. But the premise behind it is a lucky couple hits the jackpot when they purchase a 19th century plantation home for a bargain price. They invite their friends up for a weekend to celebrate their good fortune and to start making their house into a home. The locals in the town, Michael Berryman, The Hills of Eyes, Treat Williams, 127 Hours, try to warn them about the sinister history of the house, but they won't listen. When the friends start going missing, along with the skin off their faces, the survivors realise the plantation's former owner has risen from his grave and he's not happy. Yeah, that sounds alright. It's one of these movies you get them and you think, well, it is what it is. If it's not good, it's not good. But I like watching these type of movies just as a sort of bit of a throwaway. But sometimes they're really good, and they just pass you by, and you kind of just look at it and think, oh, it's cheap rubbish. But it might be cheap rubbish, but in other times it might be actually very good, very entertaining. So as you can see, these have all got stickers on. They have not in the northeast taken away these stickers yet. And when I went to Glasgow the other day, they haven't taken the stickers away from there. I don't know why that's not a thing, because it's meant to be a thing, but they're dragging their feet doing it. So what I'll do is I've got some lighter fuel. I haven't tried the lighter fuel on it yet. So I thought, well, some of these movies, I don't mind if it goes a bit wrong. So I'm going to try the lighter fuel on it and see what it does. I don't know if these stickers come off. I don't know if these are the type of stickers that come off okay, because the ones in Scotland come off all right. But if they're a bit sticky and they don't want to know, I will be going on with my lighter fuel on this and see how we go with that. So I'll let you know at the end of the video how that went on. So that's Mask Maker. Next up for £1 I got Suck. Now this movie might suck, but the thing that got my attention on this was the cast. Now the cast has, well, I don't know if this is the main cast, but it's got Alice Cooper, Iggy Pop, Henry Rollins, Malcolm McDowell. I mean, you know, it's got a, and I think Malcolm McDowell's character is called Eddie Van Helsing. I mean, come on. This movie here, it does look absolutely crazy. But when I put it on, I've got to admit, the picture quality in it looks absolutely jaw-dropping. But it's got a lot of CGI in it. The CGI looks absolutely like bargain basement. This movie's from around 2009, I think it is. Never heard of it before, but I thought, well, this cast in it, it might be something worth watching. Now, what I did notice when I put it on, I've watched all of these like little clips of them. I did think that this movie looked really like had the potential to be one of the worst things you've ever seen. and I don't mean in a worse, so bad it's good. I mean just in the so bad it's bad. But we'll see. I'm quite interested to see it now, with it's just the fact of this cast, and also the fact of the way it looked. It's got. I remember thinking when I was watching it how crystal clear the print was, but I thought that the acting looked really odd. I thought the little bits that I put on looked really stupid, as in somebody's getting controlled by a vampire from a car. It's just, it sounds preposterous and it looks preposterous, but it may be alright, but for a quid, doesn't really matter. So that's Suck. Next up for £1, I picked up Bunraku, or Bunraku. Not too sure how you pronounce that. I got this because it's got a slip on. It's got a nice slip as well, which is embossed. And it's got a good cast in it as well. So I thought, well, it's got Demi Moore, it's got Woody Harrelson, amongst other people, Josh Hartnett. So I thought, well, yeah, this has got, the cast is there, 2010 I think it came out. So I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. So I put it on, and to be honest, this movie, it does say on here that it said it's a mixture of, it's Kill Bill meets Sin City. And when I put it on, I thought, this is just so like Sin City with colour. It's got actually the sort of the whole presentation of the movie looks really like eye-catching. It's like stunning visually. It might be, I've never heard of it before again. It might be a complete load of rubbish, but is that embossed? No, it's not. It could be like the worst thing you've ever seen in your life, but these things, I don't mind getting them for £1. They sit in the shelf for a little bit, but they're quite interesting to me, and I do get through them. I've got a pile there, but I will start watching these ones, like these kind of throwaway titles, but they might end up being quite good. This one looked quite actually entertaining, and it did look really nice. Some of the sound qualities on this, I think this has got 5.1. The sound quality on this sounded absolutely amazing as well. So yeah, it's got a lot of potential. So that's Bunraku, or Bunraku. So next up I got for £1.50, Contagion. Now it's funny because me and Deborah wanted to watch this for a long time, and of course she went to Poundland and all them shops where it was always getting sold, and you couldn't find it for love and the money. It seemed as if the Blu Ray went out of print, so that's why we bought the DVD. Always thinking that'll do me. But when I saw this for £1.50 with a slip, triple play, not that really is a deal clincher for me. I thought, yeah, I've got to get this movie, because it's not a movie I watch all the time, but through the recent events of COVID, if you haven't seen this movie, and this was made years before COVID, probably about 10 years before, you will be amazed at how close this is to what we've just been through in the last 2 years. It's as if, I mean, all the stuff they talk about are numbers, and they talk about, like vaccines and all this type of thing, like what we've had to, it's as if they've like gotten a time machine and literally found out what was going to happen, and I don't know how they've got all this information correct, because sometimes when they do these movies about global pandemics, they're completely wrong. But this one was more right. It was actually spookily right. So if you haven't seen this movie, I do urge you to watch it, because it's such a good watch, and it will resonate with every single person in the world. It's one of these movies where, if you say to somebody, "Oh, this is a fan for horror," this is if you're like a fan of some kind of Stanley Kubrick movies, this movie will resonate with you. I can safely say that in the whole world will understand this movie, which is not something you can say about many movies. So it's highly, highly recommended, and I was so pleased to get it. I didn't even know it had a slip, but here it is for £1.50. So happy to upgrade that. That's Contagion. So I've been after the next movie for quite a while. Now, with recent events in a courtroom, it made me think, I might just check it out now, when I saw it there for £1.50. It is Blacksmith. It is Blacksmith.
Where's me ladders?
It is Black Mass, starring Johnny Depp. Now, I've been a big fan of Johnny Depp. Yes, everyone's probably seen the case that's been on TV at the moment. Wow. Quite fascinating in a way, but yeah, crazy. I mean, Hollywood, yeah. But this movie here has been one of the ones that I wanted to see, because I heard that he played a good performance in it. This is obviously before the case. I think it's come out in 2015. It's a long film, like 2 hours long, but it's I don't know if it's factually right or not. I don't know if it's real life people, or it's like a mafia type thing, which I'm all about. Got a good cast in here: Johnny Depp, Joel Edgerton, Benedict Cumberbatch, Kevin Bacon again, and Peter Sarsgaard, Dakota Johnson. So is Peter Sarsgaard the fella who was in that The Northman, the new film out? I think he is, possibly. Can't see a picture of him on here. So yeah, so it's one of those ones where I think Johnny Depp goes into deep. It's one of those ones that Johnny Depp goes deep into character, and it's always been one high on my list. And of course, then you do want to see it, and you don't bump into it. But for $150, I couldn't leave it on the shelf. So yeah, I think I'll be watching a few more of Johnny Depp movies, actually, just with the current events in the courtroom. That's Black Mass. Next up is a movie that I've been after for a long time, and I've heard a load of people say good things about it. In fact, I've never heard anybody say bad stuff about it, and everyone's urged me to see it. Of course, when you go to watch it, I've never really bumped into it, and also it had a slipcover as well. So for £3.50, I got Prisoner in Cell Block 99. This stars Vince Vaughn. I'm a big fan of Vince Vaughn, actually. I think he's great in everything I've seen him in. And so happy to get a slip of this as well. Didn't expect to see this one, but I pounced immediately. I've heard a lot of people say just amazing things about it, saying it's hyper violent. And I did put a bit on, and the picture quality looks great as well. It's got a nice soundtrack on here as well. I think it's about 5.1 surround. And it is hyper violent. That's all I can say from the little clip I saw. The thing is, though, about Vince Vaughn that doesn't really maybe translate in his comedy roles is the fact he is 6'5" and he's a unit. So when he's in this movie, he looks so imposing as well in this sort of prison get-up. So for me, I don't know if he's done more films like this, but I really do think that he could be an imposing action star, which is something that you don't really think of. He doesn't really come across like 6'5" when he's been in a sort of like romantic comedy. But in this movie, he looks like a sort of a really big, striking, almost like a WWE wrestler. But yeah, so this is another one high up on the list. I might get a new T-shirt that says, "This is high up on the list." But it is, and it's one of the ones that's passed us by a lot of times. I've always meant to pick it up. I've never seen it cheap enough, and I've never seen it slip either. So really happy to get that. So that's Brawl in Cell Block 99. Try saying that after 99 pints. Next up is a movie that's passed me by quite a few times, and I've seen it in CEX, but it's always been in a really poor condition for £10. And I thought, well, I'm not going to pay £10 for it because really I would expect everything with it. And I thought I would never get it with all the slipcovers and everything, but I did. So for £10 I got Heathers. Now this movie, I flipped over the art in here, and I've got all the booklets in it as well. So for that reason, I think that is worth £10. Now this is a great movie. I think this movie is quintessentially 1980s. So this movie is about as 80s as it comes. So glad to pick it up with a slipcover. It looked great on the shelf. And it's one of those ones where I've been holding out for the slipcover, thinking I would never ever get it, or it would be on for stupid money. But here it is, and it's got a nice soundtrack on it. The picture quality on here is really nice. It's got a vibrant colour to it, because it is a colourful movie in general. But I think some of the interior scenes get a little bit like grainy, but that doesn't put me off at all. The slipcover has seen sort of better days, but on the shelf you'll never know. And really pleased to get it with a slipcover, and really pleased I'm going to watch it, because I've been putting it off for ages to watch it again. But now I've got it here, I will. This is another high up on the list one. But I'm really starting to watch a few more Arrow ones recently, and I think that this one's going to be high up on the list. It does say it's got a new 4K scan from the original camera negatives, and it does look really good. I don't think it would look any better, if I'm honest. Well, it would obviously look better a little bit in 4K, but I do think the colour, the HDR would make this look absolutely sensational in 4K. Will it ever come out? It probably will. So, really pleased to get that, especially with a slip. The price is, I would say, around about what I would pay for it if I was going to get off eBay anyway. So, let's see what's happened with these things, though. That's going to be the clincher. I really hope I don't ruin the slipcover. But there you go, fingers crossed on that one. So that's Heathers. Next up is a movie that I've never seen, funny enough, and actually Deborah's seen this one. She went with Matthew to see it in the cinema. It is Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition, 4K, £5. I couldn't leave on the shelf for that much. I wouldn't say these are movies that I sort of really want to see, like first, like in the cinema. But I heard a little bit of a mixed thing about it. I do know that I pretty much like the DC stuff, and I'm starting to get a bit more into the DC stuff, movies that have like passed us by, like Suicide Squad. And yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. Now, I do know that this has come out with a sort of I don't know if this is the ultimate edition where I think it's had like a colour corrected one. I could be wrong. I think this isn't the one. That one. This one looks quite dark, actually, if I'm honest. And I wasn't that impressed by the 4K picture, but that was just me going through a couple of scenes. When I watched it, it might be improved. It's a long film. It's 3 hours long, mind, and wow. But that's got Dolby Atmos on it. Soundtrack did sound absolutely amazing. But like I say, £5, it didn't really matter if it's not that great. I do want to watch it. They're not high up in my watch the lists, the DC stuff. I'm not a massive fan of it. The Marvel stuff is more the stuff that I navigate to. But no, I think the recent stuff with Batman and things like that, I'm quite willing to check this out a bit more quicker than I was before. I've went past this a million times, and I did look at the new version of it. Now, is this the new? I don't think it's a new version. I'm pretty sure it's not. But anyway, for £5, I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. And if I do really, really like it, and this isn't the best one, I might get the better one somewhere down the line. But it's another one that's when you see one for this price, you think, well, it's a 4K, and you know, it's a slim one as well, which you don't get that often. And yeah, I think I will. Well, I'll definitely check it out and see what I think of it. So and I'm not really too sure about Ben Affleck as Batman, because I've seen him in the Snyder cut of Justice League, and he was okay, but I want to see what he's like as a sort of Bruce Wayne character, because I think he looks quite good in the clips that I saw. So that's Batman v Superman Ultimate Dawn. So that's Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. So last up on 4K for £10, I've got Speed. Now, I've been interested to see this one, obviously with a slipcover. I thought, yes, I don't really usually get slipcovers in my CEXs. Usually slipcovers are all gone, so I thought, yeah, I'll get that. So that's about what I would pay for it in HMV anyway. I do like this movie. I haven't seen it for the longest time. I'm a big fan of Dennis Hopper, Keanu Reeves, and also Sandra Bullock. So I do know this is a great movie, and obviously when I put it on, I checked out a few of the clips, and the soundtrack on here blew me away. The picture quality as well is absolutely stunning. Much better than, it's funny you would think that this one would be the best one with it being new, but this one looks great. And I think this is like an early 90s movie, if I'm not mistaken. Keanu Reeves actually looks all right with short hair. I think he should probably bring that look back, although he's a bit older than he is in this movie. But this is another one that Deborah would watch. This got a nice slipcover there with some spot glossing on, and it's always been one I've looked at in HMV when I thought, you know, for ones that want to get cheap. So I recommend this for looking at a really good 4K. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and get these stickers off with a lighter fluid, see how that goes. So did it work? Well, I've got to say that initially I was thinking this will never work. It just seemed a little bit too aggressive to put lighter fuel on there. I was thinking to myself, I didn't want to do it in case I ruined these. I've been putting it off for quite a while. So I got this from Poundland. It's only £1, obviously. And I'll tell you what I thought about on different covers on these releases. So all the round stickers that were on the top stickers, none of them wanted to come off. They were all stuck like glue. Not one of them would have come off without leaving some kind of residue. So that was all ripping this slipcase. So I knew I had to put something on it anyway to get this off. It wouldn't just come off with, or it sat there for 5 years to pick it. But to be honest, this has taken me half an hour to do this. But so I put this on first, and I was a little bit reticent as to do it, so it didn't come off at all, and it was a complete mess. I mean, it was coming off, but it was leaving all the residue underneath was underneath, because I tried to pull it off and it didn't come off, and it just left all the other sort of underneath sticky stuff on there. I'll get back to this one. So these ones here, these ones come off quite good. Got to be careful when you put it on, not for it to run down into the artwork. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference, but I didn't want to try that one. So these have all come off. I mean, these bottom ones here, these stickers, they just come straight off. So why on earth has CEX moved to them? And why on earth have they not taken them off yet, as they said they were going to? So yeah, so this works a treat for these ones. So I've got no problems with them on this particular one. It was the slipcovers that was going to be the problem, the issue. So the first one that I really tried on, like I say, was this one, but it didn't really want to know. So what I did was, rather than I found that if I put 3 drops of it on, 3 drops of this stuff on, and if if I had the thing like this and I sort of turned it around in the light, so it filled the whole thing with surface tension, and I just left it. And I left it for say 2 minutes, and I went back and literally they just peeled off. It was amazing actually, because I thought this is never going to work after the sort of this one. So what I would say is, if you just put your 3 drops on, let it soak in, but do it with surface tension so it gets from to the whole, only the sticker. I mean, this had another sticker on which has left a bit of a thing, that's probably from when it was bought. And it just literally just comes off like that. Never be tempted to put it on then try and take it off like I did with the first one. So that one come off, and that's like a really shiny cover, so that didn't make any problems with that. So I can safely say with that type of cover it'll do it well. This is a matte cover, and this come off really well, because I think I'd perfected it by this time. 3 drops, leave it, move on, get rid of a few ones that you've done pre-prepped, and then come back to it. So yeah, that one worked a treat. This one, I was thinking, so I don't really want to do it the 4Ks, but I did, and that one come off no problem at all. This one as well. Now this one here, I had this for a while, and this one's got all this sort of like really strange embossing on. Now this one took a little bit more getting off. It didn't look like it was going to come off. It looked like it was going to get a bit problem with these raised bits, but it didn't. But I just had to persevere a little bit. This was a little bit tricky to get off, but it did come off in the end. So that one worked great. I was a bit scared about putting it on this one, the heathers, because I thought with it took all the ink off the other one that I had, which was Last Matinee. So this one here just come off like a dream. And this one, I don't know. This one started to take a little bit of the ink off there, but I don't know if that was something on there underneath. So, but I think that this, like I say, this was going to be the one that I was like most scared of doing. So what I did was I went back, I put some more. I'd say take the top layer of the sticker off, and I put some more stuff on the bottom layer of it, like the sort of thing I couldn't get off. It didn't really take it off. So what I did was I just got a wet wipe and I just wiped it off with that, and it come off no problem, and I cleaned it up. So to recap, lighten the surface, 3 drops on, let it soak in, and then it just peels off. You can see it actually, that sort of goes like as if it's got like greaseproof paper, you know, and you can see through it. It goes like that, and you can just like lift it off. I don't know how long you would keep it on for. I wouldn't keep it on for a long time, but I would say 2 to 3 minutes is more than enough. And but let it do what it does, and then you can peel it off. I think I went too quick with Batman v Superman. I think that's why I didn't want to know. So I can say at first I was thinking this is never going to work, but to be honest, I think that if you want to go ahead and try this stuff, if you've got these problems, which everyone's got, you might be able to get. This is something that I would have never used before, if I'm honest, and I was really nervous about using it. And yes, there is a bit of a sort of lingering like smell from it, so I just got wet wipe, cleaned it off, and then I got a bit of kitchen roll cleaned off with that. And to be honest, it doesn't smell after that. So anyway, that's my sort of findings on cleaning this up with this lighter fluid. I don't know if I could make another video or actually show you how I do it. But to be honest, to recap, we should never have to do these type of things with something you bought. I don't ever know in any other shop where you go into it and say, there you go, there's a sticker on your expensive item or a sort of a limited edition item. Feel free to put some lighter fluid on and pull this big manky sticker off it, and have a nightmare with it, and you might not work and you might rip it to shreds, but enjoy your purchase. Okay, so thanks for watching, you take care, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers.